Hey everyone.
Hey.
So it is the next day. Last time we worked on the soffits, where we worked on the front and the back.
Yep, and now it's time for the sides, riveting. Who would ever guess is now to finish up the soffits on the sides.
If you're new here, just so you know, we're working on a two-story shed. Welcome. This is part, I think, 19 now of videos for the shed. So if you haven't seen the others, please go back and watch them, especially the last two, because they'll inform this a lot more. This is going to be a little bit shorter. We're just going to put in some soffits. Maybe you're going to oil some cedar.
Yep.
And then that's going to be it.
All right, well, let's get going.
All right.
All right, so what are you doing here?
So I'm doing your idea. So you had the idea to use the stair measuring device, which are these two ends. This is just a stick I put in between. So I'm using that. I measured it up top. I put it to the sides, and now I'm putting the mark over here on each side of this so I can transfer the measurement to the boards.
And you're doing this because it's not perfectly square, right?
Right. We know the rafters aren't going to be perfectly square. So this gives a good line here. And now the only problem is that stair measurer, it's meant for stairs. So it's only 11.5 inches deep or so. Maybe a little more. And so, ours is actually 4 boards deep. So I have to use a straight edge and really not move these boards. That's the most important part. The other part, I'm extrapolating here the remaining cuts. However, that could be wrong. They could fluctuate. It could go back. So at the very least, these will all be cut in a straight line. That's about the best I can guarantee. I can't really, I can see how these are even moving on me when I'm letting go. So I can't guarantee that these are going to be perfect, but I can say that they'll at least be straight to each other. And it's our best guess. Otherwise, what we'd be doing is measuring each board, calling it down, cutting it, and putting it in, which is a way to do it, but it's not the way I want to do it. So this way I can just cut all 4 right now down here with the miter saw. I can just cut them at the line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them at the line, and then if I need to cut them shorter, I can. And so that way, it'll just make it all faster. These are already oiled, and this one isn't oiled yet, which is how you see the oil splotches.
Hey, so what have we learned with our very first between the raptor tails soffit install?
Okay, a couple things. A couple disappointments, basically. It looks good, I think, but so this tool here, this idea of using this for the underneath. This is normally meant for stairs. That didn't really work because the boards weren't really straight, and I was a little bit concerned about that when I was starting to cut them. Is well, what if this angle isn't consistent all the way? It's just for the first few boards, and then it changes. And sure enough, that's what it did. And so that wasn't good. It would have been better if I had just done the same length all the way down across. So that's what I'm going to do next. The other thing, I'm going to put that down. The other thing that I wish would have been better is the lining up of the wood. So we turned the corner on the previous front soffit, and it turns at a 45 with a miter, and then you can see it heads into the rafter. So on the other side is the next rafter. The problem with that is that between the rafters, there's a bird block up there, making all of them stick out further. So it's about 1.5 inches, which is the thickness of a bird block or a piece of lumber, further out than the other side. So we should have thought of that ahead of time. What I would have done or could have done is put a faux bird block, just a piece of wood up there, painted it black, and had that to where it turned the edge at that corner, and then they would all line up. But because we didn't do that, that means that now all those boards are going to be off. We tried taking off the boards. After we put them up, I took them off for a second because we're like, wow, let's try to really line it up. And no matter what we did, it didn't look good. The reason for that is that they soften up there, even though it looks like it goes to the very edge, actually is about half an inch shy. And so because of that, it didn't line up with the next one. It just wasn't going to look good. So what we're doing is just putting them in there normally. Now what I'm going to do is just cut them at the length that I think. I'm going to use a laser measure like this. If you don't have anything like this, I really suggest you get one. Rather than try to use a tape measure up and above my head, which is pretty difficult, just use this, click the button, it tells you what it is. So I'm going to do like that. I'm going to cut off about an 1/8 inch on each side, which is a 1/4 inch total. That'll give me plenty of room of play. And even if it gets thinner or wider, I don't think it's going to be more than 1/4 inch. And that should be good. At the end, I still going to have to pass it through a table saw though, and maybe even a table saw at an angle so that it matches the end, the little eave or whatever that is.
Yeah, just so they're not jaggedy looking.
Right. So that way it matches and looks out there. That's all the stuff we learned. I realize that's a lot, but it still looks good. Like it doesn't not look good. So I'm just going to go forward and just learn from that and keep on going. It should go pretty quick though, honestly. Like that was quick. This should be quick.
Hello, Anna.
Hey.
So what have you been doing?
I've been oiling the boards on all sides.
With tongue oil, but actually before that, not all of them were routed. So they were planed, but not all of them are routed. So I had to
Route a whole bunch more. And leave a couple of boards.
not routed for the skirt. But right now, I'm just oiling them. A lot of these are for the skirt later, because we won't need all of these.
For the soffit.
Okay, here. We'll trade. I'll tell you what I've been up to.
Okay. All right. Hi. Hi, what have you been up to?
So I finished all the soffits on that side.
Ah, awesome.
They're all done. Other than this, the corner side, I'm not counting there, but there's a corner to do.
Okay, I'll do that.
So then on this side, I'm about to start on that side. It's going really fast. This is the way to do it, where we just measure it, cut it. I'm using the laser measure, which is this guy, to get the actual measurement rather than a tape measure. It's going way faster doing that. I just go and cut it. And the last one, I'm putting up 3 out of the 4 that we have. And then on the last one, I'm having to measure, this time with the tape measure, measure the difference, like it's 4.5 and then 4 1/4 or something like that. And then I'm putting it through the table saw with a little angled piece to get that bevel.
And you're doing that because the last piece, it's not a full width board.
Yeah, the last piece is not a full width board. And we knew that it would be varying, and it does vary. So I'm glad we're doing it this way. So now I'm going to start on the other side, the uphill side of it. And then all the soffits will be done. It's looking really good, though. Looks really, really good. I'm really happy with it.
All right.
Okay.
I'm done. Finished all the pieces. That's it. We're good.
All right, so we are done with the soffits for the building. How did that go in your opinion?
Okay, so soffits finished. I think it went pretty well. We had a few things that I wish could have been different. One of the major ones that we had, and I probably already talked about this, but it's where the soffit on the corner goes into the next one, like where it turns that and there's a rafter in between. The bird blocks of the other ones made the whole section be farther forward.
So it shifted the seams of all the cedar
Right.
pieces.
And then the cedar on the other one didn't actually go to the very end of it. And so it just looks like they don't line up. That's unfortunate. I think I've learned it for the next build that we have. Like we're going to do a bedroom later, expansion. When we do that, if we do the wood, I'll know better there. But for this one, you know, that's one of the things that kind of like, I really wish that could have been better.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I would say that it's amazing that the soffit is made with cedar fence pickets. Honestly, I think it looks a lot better than that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. So guys, if you ever want to make good looking cedar on the cheap, it's just buy the cheap, inexpensive cedar pickets from Home Depots or Lowe's, and then put it through your $600 or $700 planer, and man, does that work!
Oh, and also your router table too to get
and your outer table. I'm sorry, so $1,000 worth of tools just to make a $3 board look better.
That is the philosophy of fine woodworking.
Right. That's why would I build it? Why would I buy it for $200 if I can make it for $400 and spend more time
And
doing it?
double the cost and triple the time.
Yeah. So on our side, we already had those tools, so it wasn't like an extra expenditure for us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think the soffit looks good. And so moving on to more cedar,
yes,
which is the cedar skirt around the building.
Cedar skirt. So the cedar skirt will finally make it start to feel more Japanese. Like this, I think this soffit actually made it feel very modern.
Yeah, I agree.
It looks great, but man, does it look modern. And so this will bring in a little bit more just Japanese feel to it.
Yep. So that Japanese shed we've been promising you this entire time, maybe start to look like it.
Yeah, so that's what's up next. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it. If you can, please leave in the comments what you think. Do you think this is a good look? Do you think we should have done the lookouts, like the faux lookouts, or should we have just kept it modern? Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really does make a difference.